When Bill Gates was in high school, he would sneak off to a power plant in North Bonneville with his friend Paul Allen to do programming. That was the start of a revolutionary invention that would make Gates a billionaire. At 66, where does Bill Gates earn his money? Today we'll discuss Bill Gates' salary. What Bill Gates actually earns that make up his net worth. First, in 1975, Bill Gates created Microsoft with his co-founder Paul Allen. Nevertheless, the business became Microsoft Corporation Incorporated and started releasing the products it is now known for in 1983. Because of Microsoft Office's success in 1990 and Windows 95 in 1995, his company's valuation had increased from the initial $350 million it was estimated to be worth when it went public. The software firm's valuation reached $100 billion by 1999. Although the initial edition of Microsoft Word was released that same year, 1983, the program could not leave the market until the late 1980s and early 1990s. Bill Gates has made the largest single federal tax payment in U.S. history at roughly $6 billion. Still, this represents a negligible portion of Bill Gates' net worth.
Negligible.
Gates, like Amazon's Jeff Bezos, has benefited from a provision in the United States tax system that does not treat the value of stocks and other financial instruments as income. He established a Bill Gates Foundation and developed a portfolio detailing his holdings in several different businesses. Soon we'll discuss his portfolio and name a few important companies contributing to Bill Gates' salary, so stay tuned. Now it may come as a surprise, but even though Microsoft Corporation is often cited as the primary source of Bill Gates' salary, these days the company contributes relatively little to Bill Gates' income compared to other investment routes on his Bill Gates Foundation portfolio. He resigned as CEO of Microsoft in the year 2000 and from the board of directors in the year 2020 so that he could devote more time to charitable causes. Mr. Gates has invested outside of Microsoft in several other businesses, including the digital imaging company he co-founded in 1989, Corbis, and the financial firm Berkshire Hathaway, where he served as a director.
Bodes well for the future of the company.
The future of the company, how will the board's role change with the next CEO who comes in? My guess is things are going to be run a little differently.
Well, you'll certainly have a period of supporting the new CEO where we'll have some institutional memory and want to make sure he gets into the job very well. So I think things will be more intense then than they have been. There'll be a lot of questions about the company that all of us who are on the board will, lend our time and our reputation to talk about what an enduring, incredible company Berkshire is, and make sure that's really what's happening.
Bill Gates is constantly looking for promising new firms to invest in. If you're interested in keeping up with the latest news on Bill Gates and which companies he decides to back, then you should subscribe to our channel and get an alert whenever we drop a new video. Okay, so moving on, let's look at Bill Gates' foundation portfolio. Having served as the board chairman of Berkshire Hathaway under his friend Warren Buffett, he owns over 28.7 million shares in Berkshire Hathaway, with a market value of just over $10 billion, making Berkshire Hathaway the most significant stake in the Bill Gates Foundation portfolio. Bill Gates' second largest holding is Waste Management Incorporated, WM shares. The Bill Gates Foundation owns over 18.6 million shares, worth $3.1 billion, contributing to Bill Gates' net worth. Canadian National Railway Company, CN, is the third largest, CNI. The Bill Gates Foundation has amassed about 1,307 million shares, which are currently worth over $1.75 billion. The Bill Gates Foundation's fourth largest position in shares of Caterpillar Incorporated, CAT. The market value of the 7.35 million Caterpillar shares owned by the Bill Gates Foundation is nearly $1.7 billion. The fifth largest is Ecolab Incorporated, which has approximately 4.36 million shares worth $671 million, adding up to the total of Bill Gates' net worth. There's also Walmart, where almost 3 million shares are currently valued at $367 million. Over 6.2 million Coca-Cola FEMSA, SAB to CV shares are owned by the Bill Gates Foundation, with a total market value of $343 million. Also, while other firms in the portfolio, like Schrödinger Incorporated, United Parcel Service, and FedEx Corporation, aren't explicitly named, it's easy to believe they are substantial contributors to Bill Gates' salary. However, the market value of these firms is lower than that of the stock in question. Because most of these businesses pay out sizable dividends, they are still considered excellent investments. For instance, the United Parcel Service and the FedEx Corporation were among the top 5 high dividend yield investments contributing to Bill Gates' salary last year, with a 2.98% and 2.03% dividend yield, respectively. Dividends are the annual or quarterly payments made to corporate shareholders. Given that Bill Gates has investments in numerous businesses across the world, the question, how much money does Bill Gates have, comes to mind. Stay tuned if you are curious about the answer, because we'll be revealing that soon. In our opinion, if Bill Gates had held on to his shares at Microsoft Corporation instead of selling, he would be much wealthier now than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. In September 1998, when the software firm first became the world's most valuable corporation, Gates possessed 2.06 billion shares, according to figures collated by Bloomberg. Microsoft regained first place on October 29, 2021 from Apple Incorporated. If Gates' holdings from 1998 had not been sold, Bill Gates' net worth would be over $693 billion, surpassing the fortunes of both Musk and Bezos. He sold most of his Microsoft stock before leaving the board in 2020. Why do you think Bill Gates sold most of his shares in Microsoft? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Now, I'm sure you've been waiting for this. Bill Gates' net worth is $114 billion, as reported by websites such as Investopedia. So how much money does Bill Gates make? It is safe to assume that Bill Gates makes around $1,300 each second. These results are consistent with values in other studies on Bill Gates' salary. Bill Gates, previously considered the wealthiest person in the world, will rank number 5 in 2022, behind Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bernard Arnault, and Gautam Alanis. We believe Bill Gates isn't concerned about having the wealthiest man title, given his philanthropic activities. As quoted by Bill Gates in 2011 at the University of Washington, "I can understand wanting to have millions of dollars. There's a certain freedom, meaningful freedom, that comes with that. But once you get much beyond that, I have to tell you, it's the same hamburger." Bill Gates turned his fortune from software firm Microsoft into diversified holdings in various companies, and now Bill Gates' salary comes from a portfolio of firms. Even amid Bill Gates' divorce saga, there hasn't been any significant decrease in the value of Bill Gates' net worth. We believe it will continue to stay that way. If you missed out on the Bill Gates divorce saga, watch our next video, Bill Gates Divorce Saga. What you miss and everything you need to know, and get a timeline on what happened. Thanks for watching.